All right, so move on to the next segment. I'll be sharing my thoughts on which NFL head coaches and coordinators are on the hot seat as the NFL regular season is coming to an end. So we're heading into week 16. If you're mathematically eliminated, your season is going to end within the next 3 weeks. So these are the following head coaches and coordinators I do believe could be coaching for their jobs within the next 3 weeks. Starting off with head coach in Atlanta, Raheem Morris. Now, my guy Manny Wilson, the host of the Run podcast, will tell you that Raheem Morris is not a good head coach and he's not the right guy for the job in Atlanta. And I agree with him. I don't think Raheem Morris is a good head coach. I don't think he was the best head coach hire 2 years ago. He has a record in his first 2 seasons with the Atlanta Falcons of 17 wins and 25 losses. And honestly, when you watch the Atlanta Falcons, they have talent on both sides of the ball, especially defense. Their defense is honestly the backbone of the team, in my opinion. I just think it doesn't come down to players costing them the games. I think it comes down to coaching and personnel holding this Atlanta Falcons team back. Because they got talent on both sides of the ball, but I don't think they're knowing how to utilize the talent. And Raheem Morris, him being a defensive guy, I just don't see it really. And with his defensive scheme, I think Raheem Morris is not a good head coach. I don't think he's necessarily too bad, but he has showed that he can't close out games. He's bad in close management skills, clock management skills, and his staff, Zach Robinson as their offense coordinator, has stunk up the joint and misused offensive talent. Not only has he misused offensive talent, but I feel like with that offense, they should be scoring more points per game. And you have one of the best running backs in the league in Bijan Robinson. You misuse him in the pistol formation. You misuse him in the red zone where he should be getting more carries and scoring more touchdowns in the red zone. Should be your bell cow running back in the red zone. But they don't do that. I just feel like with the Atlanta Falcons being 5-9, Raheem Morris is in danger of losing his job, and he must show the front office something within the next 3 weeks to keep his job in Atlanta. Next head coach, Steven Stefanski, head coach for the Cleveland Browns. Now, I do believe that I do believe that Kevin Stefanski's time in Cleveland is nearly up. I do believe that a divorce will happen in the next 3 weeks between Kevin Stefanski and the Cleveland Browns. Now, to some, the argument might be that Kevin Stefanski is a good head coach. Then the argument is that Kevin Stefanski is not a good head coach. Maybe he just needs to step back and be an offense coordinator somewhere to get back on his feet and then take a head coaching job in a year or so. But Kevin Stefanski, being in Cleveland for the last 5 years, he has a record of 42 wins, 51 losses, and is 1-2 in the postseason since being the head coach in Cleveland. But my thing about Kevin Stefanski is I just feel like they got to let him go because he put Shedeur Sanders in harm's way. Now, I don't think he's really liked Shedeur Sanders, nor do I think he's really put Shedeur Sanders in an opportunity to succeed. Because when he was thrown in that Baltimore Ravens game weeks ago at home, that was his first time getting reps with number ones all year long. How the hell are you in training camp? How the hell are you declared the second string when they traded Joe Flacco to Cincinnati and you don't give this man number one reps knowing that Dillon Gabriel could go down at any point of the season? Injuries happen all the time in the NFL. Then Sunday on the road against Chicago, you give Shedeur Sanders the wrong play calling wristband against the Chicago Bears early on in that ball game. Not only are you not having him in a chance to truly succeed in your offensive system, but you're putting the team at risk to lose even more ball games, which is alarming if you could be coaching for your job. And not only that, I feel like Kevin Stefanski, even though he's a 2-time coach of the year, doesn't take accountability well. When things go wrong, and him being an offensive-minded guy, he wipes his hands clean when he's the play caller and says, oh, I don't want anything to do with it. I'm no longer the play caller. And he does this when the offense stinks and has questionable management skills as a head coach. We've seen this time in and time out over the years at Cleveland. I don't know. I feel like the Browns they've been bad, but their roster hasn't been necessarily the worst in the league over the last 5 years that he's been there. I feel like there's been some missed opportunities for the Cleveland Browns to step up and compete year in and year out in the AFC. And I feel like there's been missed opportunities for Kevin Stefanski being the head coach to win some close ball games over the years. I don't feel like he's growing as a head coach. And the standard should have been changed in Cleveland a long time ago. Yes, you did get one postseason win, but grow from it, damn it. Get back to the dance, damn it. Show that you could compete in this AFC, because over the years, they haven't been the worst team on paper, roster-wise. But I feel like Kevin Stefanski has been stinking it up as the head coach. And I think he should be fired by the end of the season. They need a fresh new start in Cleveland. A head coach that will truly get them to the somewhat promised land and be a contending team once again in Cleveland. Kevin Stefanski, I don't believe, is going to be the guy to do that in Cleveland. He needs to be fired. Now let's go to the defensive coordinator route here. And I'm going to go with my Dallas Cowboys. Fire Matt Eberflus. Now, again, Matt Eberflus needs to be fired by the end of the year. No ifs, ands, doubts about it. Fire the man, Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones. Fire him. And I don't know. I honestly think heading into Week 16, Matt Eberflus is truly in the conversation for being one of, if not the worst defensive coordinator in the league. And this is Week 16, guys. He still cannot figure out his defensive personnel, his own group of players that he has. He doesn't know what the hell can go right at this particular point. I mean, zone coverage obviously doesn't work. You're better off banking on your DBs to play man-to-man coverage more times than not. Zone coverage with your DBs playing 6 to 8 yards back in coverage just has not been working all year long. Kenneth Murray is one of the worst damn linebackers in the field. We traded for Logan Wilson for what reason? Even though it was a late round pick, a 6th or 7th round pick that we gave up to get Logan Wilson, put him on the field. Kenneth Murray, Pro Football Focus, is one of, if not the worst linebacker in football. And he does not know how to not only play well, or he doesn't understand his responsibilities on the field. And he does not help the defense. The defense has given up 30-plus points 8 times this NFL season. The only other defensive units to do that this NFL season are the Las Vegas Raiders. You see what their record is at 2-11. And the Cincinnati Bengals. Those are the only other teams to do that. And we're in the conversation with those teams when you have a Super Bowl caliber offense sitting right in front of you. So I feel like Matt Eberflus has been exposed as a defensive coordinator, and definitely exposed by his former NFC North rivals, because he was the former head coach in Chicago. And this season, the Dallas Cowboys are 0-3-1 against the NFC North. And a big reason of that is the defense, because we are averaging 37 points per game given up to the Packers, the Vikings, and the Lions when we played those, and the Bears when we played those teams this year. So, again, I feel like this offense is a Super Bowl caliber offense. Dak Prescott has played some of his best ball this year in moments. The offense they're forced to score 30 points per game, and that's not fair to win ball games. That comes down to you being the defensive coordinator. That's your responsibility to find ways to bail out the offensive situations to help you win more ball games, blitz more, create more turnovers, and not surrender so many damn points to help this Dallas Cowboys team win more ball games. I just don't think with the offensive power that we have, we should not be sitting at 6-7-1. But it's because of the damn defense that has stunk up the joint. We're here. And honestly, Matt Eberflus needs to be fired. And I would honestly go after these following candidates if they're available. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, for whatever reason, decide to fire Todd Bowles. Bring him to Dallas to be the next defensive coordinator. Rex Ryan, I hear you talking shit on ESPN. Let's bring you in to be our defensive coordinator. Aaron Glenn, if he's fired from the New York Jets, I like to bring him in as a defensive coordinator. Al Harris, our former defensive back coach, I like to see him get promoted to be a defensive coordinator. Man, so many scenarios, but Matt Eberflus needs to be fired from Dallas. And last but not least, Pete Carroll, head coach for the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, this one's painful to say because I know how much success that Pete Carroll has had at the NFL level and the collegiate level. At USC, won a national championship, former Super Bowl champion with the Seattle Seahawks. But I'm not sure if he's the guy to be the head coach in Vegas for the Raiders, because they have 2 wins, 12 losses this season, and they've been blown out and shut out several times this NFL season. And they've been horrible on both sides of the ball, and that comes to the responsibilities of the head coach. because Pete Carroll hired this staff. He hired Chip Kelly to be their offensive coordinator, who he let go a few weeks ago. But the offense was bad thanks to Pete Carroll bringing in these guys. And that goes back to my point of the offensive side of the ball. You bring in your former quarterback that you had in Seattle and Geno Smith, who has had more interceptions than touchdowns this year, is not good at all. So the fact that they're sitting at 2-12, nothing has gone right for them this season. The team is lifeless, and that Sunday shutout loss on the road against the Philadelphia Eagles, who were riding a 3-game losing streak heading into that game, shows that this team is lifeless, and Pete Carroll might have lost the locker room here. At 74 years old, you got to be asking yourself, if you're the Vegas Raiders front office, is Pete Carroll the guy for the job? Because he's going to be 75 next NFL season, and the Raiders have several holes to fix this NFL offseason. If they even want to be close to becoming a 500 team, they got to get a right quarterback. They got to get more receiving options at the wide receiver position. Their secondary needs help. There's so many questions, and I don't think Pete Carroll's the guy to build the foundation in Vegas, and I think they're going to have to fire him by the end of the NFL season. But those are my following thoughts on which NFL head coaches and coordinators could be in position to lose their jobs with 3 weeks left in the regular season.